Welcome back. So last time we really dug into actionable explainability, didn't we? Moving beyond just the why an AI does something.
Right, to the what next. What can we actually do about it to make it more accurate? That was the core idea.
Exactly. And today, we're diving deeper into how that actually works inside a data agentic AI system. You know, those AIs that work with data on their own.
Yeah, we want to get straight into the mechanics. And we'll use some hopefully clear visual analogies to make it easy to grasp because, let's face it.
It's often a black box, right?
Yeah.
Especially with these big language models acting as agents. Yeah, put something in, get something out. But the how is murky.
Totally. And that makes it really tough to spot inaccuracies, let alone fix them. It erodes trust.
And it creates that weird paradox. You mentioned it before. We need humans involved for accuracy. But the AI's lack of transparency makes that really hard to do well, especially at scale.
It becomes a bottleneck. Validation slows everything down and errors can slip through. That's where actionable explainability comes in. It's the bridge.
Okay, so it shows the why and gives us the what next, those practical steps for improvement. It fosters that partnership idea.
Precisely. So let's break down how it functions. There are essentially 5 key pillars holding this up in these data agentic systems.
Right. Pillar number 1.
Pillar 1 is intent decomposition. Basically, when you give the AI a complex request, it doesn't just run off and do it. First, it breaks that request down into smaller, logical sub-steps or sub-intents. And it shows you this breakdown before it acts. So you see its understanding, its assumptions right at the start.
Okay, give me an analogy for that.
Imagine you're ordering a really complex, custom-built PC online. Before they start building, the system shows you a list of all the individual components you selected, the specific CPU, the graphics card, the RAM, the storage, each listed out.
Ah, okay. So you can check if they got all the pieces right before they assemble it.
Exactly. You can confirm they understood every part of your complex order.
So in a data query context, like if I ask for sales in a region compared to last year broken down by product.
Perfect example. The AI would first show you, okay, step 1, filter for region X. Step 2, get sales data for this year and last year. Step 3, group by product category. Step 4, perform the comparison. It lists it out.
Got it. So I can immediately see if it missed, say, the comparison part or picked the wrong region.
Precisely. You verify its interpretation up front, you can correct it early, and you prevent downstream errors. Super important.
Makes sense. What's pillar 2?
Pillar 2 is context retrieval transparency. This is where the AI tells you why it chose specific data sources, like certain tables or files and specific metrics for your analysis.
Okay.
And crucially, it doesn't just say what it used, it proactively suggests alternatives you might want to consider.
So it's like showing its work, how it gathered the evidence, analogy time.
Think of a detective laying out their evidence board. They show you the clues they gathered, the specific witness statements, forensic reports, timelines, and explain why they focused on those particular pieces.
Right.
And maybe they'd also point out, we didn't pursue this lead yet, but it could be relevant, suggesting other paths.
Okay, so for the AI, if I'm looking at supplier performance,
it might say, okay, I joined the suppliers table with the orders table using supplier ID to get performance data. But then it might add, you might also want to consider joining the parts table to see if specific part availability is impacting performance. It explains its choice and suggests more.
or with metrics.
Yeah, say you ask for quarterly revenue. It might explain, I calculated this using formula X, but then recommend for consistency, you might want to use the official quarterly net revenue metric already defined in our system.
Ah, so it points you towards established business logic too. That builds confidence.
Exactly. You understand the choices and you get nudged towards potentially better or more complete analysis. Which leads nicely into pillar 3, semantic layer knowledge.
Semantic layer. Okay, what's that about?
This is about transparency into the logic embedded within the data itself, the definitions of metrics, the relationships between tables. It's about understanding the underlying structure and calculations.
Okay, analogy. How do we picture this?
Imagine building with Legos, but each type of brick comes with a little instruction manual explaining what it represents, like a 2x4 red brick always represents sales revenue, and how it's designed to connect with other specific bricks, like customer data bricks. Semantic layer knowledge is like having that manual. If you build something and it looks weird, you can check the manual for each brick and connection to see how the logic is supposed to work.
So if the AI calculates, say, market share,
It wouldn't just give you a percentage. It would explain, okay, market share was calculated as our company revenue, total market revenue. And it might clarify how our company revenue was defined. Maybe it included tax, maybe it excluded returns.
And it might suggest improvements.
Exactly. It might say, this calculation used gross revenue. For a more standard view, consider using net revenue and maybe excluding internal transfers. It exposes the logic and lets you ensure it aligns with your business rules.
Catches inconsistencies, builds trust. Got it. What's pillar 4?
Pillar 4 is granular confidence scoring. This is pretty cool. Instead of just one overall confidence score for the whole result, the AI gives you confidence scores for individual pieces of its work.
Like for each step?
Yeah, for the subintents we talked about, for the specific data joins it made, for the calculations it performed, and crucially, it tells you why it has that level of confidence for each part.
Okay, visualize that for me.
Think about a weather forecast. Instead of just saying 70% chance of rain today, a more granular forecast might say 90% chance between 4 p.m. in the north side, but only 30% chance this morning downtown. It gives you localized confidence.
Right. Much more useful. So how does that apply here?
Well, the AI might come back and say, I'm 95% confident I identified the correct customer cohort based on your clear instructions. But it might add, I'm only 65% confident in the calculation for average order value for this group because the underlying data has some known inconsistencies. And it would explain why maybe missing values or conflicting entries.
Ah, so I know exactly where to focus my attention. I don't need to recheck the stuff it's highly confident about. I can zero in on that 65% calculation.
Precisely. It makes human oversight much more efficient and targeted. You focus where the uncertainty lies.
Smart. Okay, brings us to the last pillar.
Yep, number 5. Error understanding and debugging transparency. This is what happens when things go wrong, when the AI hits an error.
Which happens.
It happens, but instead of just spitting out a cryptic error code...
Which is the worst.
Right. Instead, the AI explicitly explains why the error occurred. It diagnoses the root cause in understandable terms, and often it recommends specific, sometimes even one-click actions to fix it.
Okay, analogy for the fix-it part.
It's like your car's dashboard. A basic warning light just tells you something is wrong, but a more advanced system might display low tire pressure, rear left, explain possible puncture detected, and maybe even suggest navigate to nearest service station. It diagnoses and suggests action.
Gotcha. So in the data world,
Let's say your query fails. The AI might explain the query failed because data from the required product details table wasn't included. It diagnoses the missing table.
and the fix.
It might then say, the necessary product ID field exists in the product details table. Would you like to add a join to include this table? And provide a button. Add join, click, problem potentially solved.
Wow, okay. That takes a lot of the pain out of debugging.
It really speeds things up, reduces frustration, and again, builds trust that the system can help you recover when things inevitably go sideways.
So these 5 pillars together, intent decomposition, context retrieval, semantic layer knowledge, granular confidence, and error understanding, they really change the game.
They absolutely do. They peel back the layers of the black box.
It moves away from just getting an answer to actually, well, collaborating with the AI, using our expertise to guide it.
That's the goal, a true partnership where human insight and AI processing power work together transparently.
So a final thought for everyone listening.
Yeah.
Think about how you work with data now. If you had an AI that didn't just give you results, but explained its reasoning clearly and offered concrete ways to make those results better, how would that change your workflow? How much more could you trust the insights? What new possibilities might that open up?
Yeah, it's a fundamental shift to consider.
Definitely something to think about. Thanks again for breaking that down for us.
My pleasure.